Hello everyone. My name is Peter. Welcome to the true stories being shared here. Please sit back and listen to today's story. My little brother 3M is actually my fiancé's 25M child. Yes, the title is crazy, I know. My fiancé 25M and I, 24F, have been together since we were 17/18. Honestly, he has always been kind, handsome, funny, and people would often say I was so lucky to have him. I thought I was lucky too. He's always treated me with love and respect, so this has left me absolutely stunned. I've always had a good relationship with my mom. It was always just her and me against the world. My dad passed away in an accident when I was young. We used to joke that we were the real-life Rory and Lorelai from Gilmore Girls. My mom frequently dated guys and they were usually great, but nothing ever really got past the initial stages. About 4 years ago, my mom told me she was pregnant, which was a huge surprise. My mom was around 42 at the time, and although she'd been dating someone recently, I hadn't met the guy but knew she was seeing someone. It was still a big shock. She never thought she could get pregnant at her age. She had me when she was quite young. Oops. And I could tell she was stressed and anxious. I decided to support her as she had always supported me and tried to reassure her. Then she had my little brother, now 3. I have a close bond with my brother. I've helped take care of him since he was born, and I just adore the little guy. My fiancé also always helped with my brother. We take him out for ice cream, to the playground, swimming in the summer, etc. But nothing ever seemed off. He was just my boyfriend at the time, spending time with me and my brother. Now, let me tell you how I found out. My fiancé and I have been living together since we graduated from college. He wasn't home because he was out with friends, but I stayed in because I just wanted to relax on the couch. One time, while binge-watching a series on Netflix, my laptop died, and I was too lazy to get the charger, so I grabbed my fiancé's iPad. I knew the password, but had never actually used it before. The iPad logged in, and I got a ton of message pings. I guess he hadn't used it in a while either. Anyway, this caught my attention, and I went to check, and of course I found everything. My mom's number wasn't saved under her name, but I recognized the number and verified it with my phone. She was telling him how guilty she felt, and that I should know. He said he felt guilty too, but couldn't lose me, and that they had screwed up. She said it wasn't fair for my brother to never know his father, and asked if he could live with the fact that his son would know him as an uncle, not a father. I lost it. What the actual F? There weren't many older messages, just a few photos of my brother as a newborn, my mom during her pregnancy, and various pictures of my brother growing up in an album. I couldn't take it anymore. I broke down crying because this had been going on for so long, and I waited for my fiancé to come home. I wish I could have been one of those women who can pretend and plan things before confronting a cheater, but I couldn't. That night, he came home later, around 11:30 p.m., and I just handed him the iPad with the conversation open, and I saw his face turn pale. I demanded an explanation. When? How? Why? At first, he didn't want to talk, but he knew he had to. Apparently, a few years ago, when I was on a trip with some friends, a girls' trip, my fiancé and my mom had dinner together, which wasn't unusual since he had been part of the family for so long. Sometimes my mom and fiancé would eat together at our local restaurant even when I was busy with sports or out. They did this just like I did with his parents. Somehow, he couldn't explain how because he couldn't articulate it. One thing led to another, and they ended up sleeping together. They felt guilty, but apparently not guilty enough, because they slept together 2 to 3 more times, using the excuse of meeting up to discuss how to tell me. Apparently, when my mom got pregnant, they stopped sleeping together and decided not to tell me because my fiancé loved me and couldn't lose me, and my mom didn't want to lose her daughter. So now here we are, with 2 of the most disgusting people. I obviously broke off the engagement, told my mom never to talk to me again, and moved in with a friend. I feel bad for my brother because I genuinely love him, but I can't be around him now. I just can't. I feel like it will remind me of all the times we talked about having kids, about how I would be his baby's mom, the only mom, and we've talked about this future since we were 17. So every time I think about it, I feel sick knowing we were really talking about raising his baby with someone else while he still had those dreams with me. I want to vomit. Editor's note: the comments are mostly supportive, with some sharing their own stories about cutting off parents and some stories of spouses sleeping with parents. How is this even a thing? People are wild. Update. First of all, I want to thank everyone for the kind messages and comments. I wasn't expecting this much support. I'm still a mess, not going to lie, but reading the comments has helped me feel better, like a mini therapy session, so thank you all again. As I feared, I actually had to face my ex near my office this week. I knew this was coming, but thought maybe I had more time. My ex was the one who approached me. Yesterday, Wednesday, after work, as I was walking to my car, my ex was lingering around waiting. I thought about running, not gonna lie, but I guess at that moment, I felt strong enough to get it over with, instead of having it hanging over my head, waiting to be approached again. He asked if we could talk, and I said yes, but I didn't want to chat in a coffee shop like we were old friends. That was ridiculous, so I told him to just talk right there where we were on the street. But somehow it wasn't busy, but also not completely empty. It felt right. Basically, he apologized 100 times and said I deserve better. I agree. He said he really loves me, and still does, but he would understand if I didn't want anything to do with him. He said if I did consider giving him another chance, he would go to therapy, either alone or together or both, and he would work hard to regain my trust. I told him it wasn't possible, that too much damage had been done. This sounds calm as I type it, but at the time, things were more heated with louder voices and harsher words. Anyway, he said he was or would be a bit fuzzy in the process of gaining custody, partial, of my brother, and that he actually wanted to be his dad. He said he didn't want to be with my mom, that it was just a stupid mistake, sure, because a mistake 4 to 5 times is totally random. He couldn't explain why he did it in the first place. I don't think he even knows himself. I asked if he cheated on anyone else before, and he said no, not sure if I believe it, but he seemed sincere. I asked why he didn't confess, and he said after doing the deed, he always felt panic and realized he could lose me, but he didn't want that. I told him this had to come out at some point. What was his plan? To have my brother around and ignore the relationship forever? He said he hadn't thought that far ahead and was basically in survival mode, planning to tell me someday. I asked if he felt my mom seduced him, and he said it was mutual, which made me want to vomit again. I asked if he had been in contact with my mom since I found out. He said yes, but mostly about my brother. He didn't go into more detail, and I didn't press for more information on that. He said he had told his parents the other day or the day before, not sure, Monday, Tuesday, about everything. His parents weren't happy but were glad to start building a relationship with my brother, their grandson. Honestly, all of this felt like a punch to the gut. I don't know why. His parents wanted to reach out to me, but he told them to wait until he had approached me first, which is why he was here. I asked if he started or thought about custody before I found out, and he said no, but when I found out, it gave him the push he needed. Great. Seems like I helped him get his S.T. together. And this past week he'd been sorting all that mess out. That's why he didn't try to see me sooner. He sounded defeated, but the whole thing made me, besides being sad, angry. Before, I was mostly depressed, but now I'm so mad. I feel like he's still in an okay place, and he's not paying for his actions other than me leaving him. He'll have my brother, his parents, and others and continue his life while I lose everything. I hate him. We didn't part ways on good terms, and I told him never to come near me again, and that was it. He asked if I would still see my brother, saying I was important to him and trying to make me feel guilty, and it worked, but I still don't think I can. I don't know much about my mom, and I really hope she doesn't try to contact me soon because right now, I'm fuming and can't handle it. I'm going to reach out to family and friends and finally drop the bomb today. I think it's time, and after talking to him, I got the extra motivation I needed. Editor's note: the top comment suggested moving to Australia. Can't fault that line of thinking. Update 2. A lot has happened. IDROPPED the bomb. And here's how it went down. First, I posted in our family Facebook group that we share, which is on my mom's side of the family. I used some inspiration from what you all suggested in my previous post and said something along the lines of, I want to inform all of you that my wedding with X has been permanently called off because I discovered that my mother's name and my ex's name had been having a sexual relationship over the past few years, which resulted in the birth of my little brother name. I was unaware of this and found out last week. I will no longer maintain a relationship with name mother and name X for obvious reasons. I appreciate your understanding and felt it was fair to let you know the situation as I value transparency and honesty above all. I also attached screenshots of my mom's messages, what she sent to my fiancé when I found out, and her attempts to rewrite history. Before I blocked her, I didn't open her messages until before the bomb drop. I didn't want to hear/read her try to convince me. It exploded. I had family members reaching out all day through messages and calls after the bomb dropped. I can tell most of them are supportive, and I could tell they were just shocked. A few questioned whether that's the whole story and maybe I misunderstood. My grandparents are in the maybe you misunderstood camp, which wasn't surprising since my mom is very close to them, and as I've said before, she's always been a good mom, so there were no red flags. I'm going to move in with a cousin who is more like a sister to me. I hadn't contacted her before because I knew once she knew, everyone else would too, which is why I went to my friend first. My cousin is livid on my behalf and offered for me to stay with her and her 2 kids until I can get back on my feet. I accepted and will be moving next week. I'm a little worried this will make it easier for my mom to reach me, but I can't stay at my friend's forever. Afterward, I quickly posted a similar message to my friends. We share most friends from high school and our local college on Instagram. I made a close friend story and tagged most of them. This has gone viral within our friend group. Actually, one of my friends sent me a Reddit post and asked if it was me. I confirmed it. They were all shocked and speechless. They never thought my ex would do anything like this. They said, he was crazy about you. Well, it seems he was crazy enough to do something insane. The friend group is divided, with some fully on my side and some thinking it's not the whole truth. I told everyone who reached out that if they didn't believe me, they should ask their friend if he was pursuing custody of my brother. That shut them up for now. My ex has apparently deleted his social media. Also, as I suspected, my ex's parents called me. They were kind to me and very apologetic about everything. I get the feeling they are overwhelmed and deeply disappointed. However, it's clear they will support their son. They are upset with my mom and want nothing to do with her, but they're unsure how that will resolve with my brother and everything else. They tried to give me updates on custody and how my ex is doing, but I quickly shut it down and told them I didn't want any information. I want to move on. I also asked them not to contact me for the foreseeable future as I need space, especially if they are going to support my ex. He's living with his parents. Additionally, my ex and my mom have been trying to reach me since the bomb drop. They've tried calling my friend, whom she's blocked them, and contacting me from different numbers. I had to put my phone on silent and ignore everyone. However, my mom did send me a long message from a different number, and it was a strange one. She said I was being cruel and that she didn't think she raised me like that. She said she thought we had a better relationship than for me to air dirty laundry like this without talking to her first. That I didn't have the whole picture. She mentioned something that confused me. She said in her long message that the reason she slept with my ex was that he reminded her of my dad. It was grief. That she didn't mean to use him to heal her pain, but she wasn't strong enough. What does that even mean? Does she think my ex looks like my dad? Or his personality? Or what? I've seen pictures of my dad, and yeah, my ex isn't that different, but they're not identical either. I mean, they have brown/dirty blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin, but that's not exactly rare. I don't see what else. I don't know. It confused me and actually made me want to confront my mom just to know what the heck is going on. Out of all the things she could have said, I did not expect that. I'm doing a little better. I'm not crying for hours or wanting to kill them anymore. But I'm still sad, and it feels like this isn't my life, like it's some big joke or a bad dream, and I'll wake up to my normal life. I also need to really start planning my future and start applying for jobs in different cities, or maybe seriously check out opportunities abroad. I might take 2 to 3 days off work to really think and do some research. I'm so scared. I feel frozen, but I know I need to start moving. Quick update. Hey everyone, it seems posting on my profile will be much easier now for quicker or smaller updates, rather than one big sign up. So here's what's happening. My friend group is divided. Some of his closest friends have said I should give him another chance, that no one is perfect, but he loves me, that he's always been good to me, and I shouldn't turn my back on him. They even said Max, my brother, and I could be a perfect little family, and that I could ensure my brother has a better stepmom than his actual relatives, right? This is so messed up. They're talking as if he did something minor or even average wrong. Like he lied about being fired, or like he forgot to pay our bills for a month, like what the hell. I have some girlfriends who have been there for me and supporting me, which is great. But the friend group isn't as solid anymore, and people are taking sides. However, I did talk to Max on the phone. I admit I had a bit to drink that night because I'd gone out to dinner with a few friends and had some wine and a cocktail. It was a short and emotional call. I was pretty tipsy, and he seemed emotionally drained too. I feel so stupid for opening up and calling him. I said 1,000 times I didn't want to know more, but I was weak. Every time I feel like moving on, I get hit with everything all over again. My mind still can't process it. On my mom's side, not much is happening either. She keeps trying to fix it. My grandparents have reached out to me, but I haven't responded. I'm sure they're trying to support me. Final update. Hi everyone. I'm moving to Spain. I got a job as an au pair near one of the biggest cities in Spain. I'm so excited. I'll be flying out in a few days and starting on September 1st. Editor's note. It took me far too long to realize that this date is the 1st, not the month. Curse American-centered date standards and my dyslexia. With the family. The kids are adorable too. I'll also be learning Spanish, which I've always wanted to do, so it all feels like a gift from the heavens. I haven't told most people about it yet, just a few friends I trust and of course my cousin I'm living with. And also my boss. My mom is telling everyone that I'm being cruel to her when she just wants to fix things. She made a mistake and is trying to make it right, but I'm being difficult. She's only human. No surprises there. Now I really see how self-centered she's always been. I'm sad about losing the mother I thought I had. It feels like she's dead. My new therapist, yes, I started seeing one last week, says I'm grieving a lot. Max has been a bit distant since our last call. I've heard he's focusing on my brother and staying out of sight. I've had a few short calls with my brother which have been bittersweet, but he's doing okay. Of course, he doesn't know what's really going on, but he's happy to have a new dad. It doesn't hurt as much as it did before, but it still stings. Thank you all so much for your support.